What's up everybody? Phil here with Garage Tune TV, back out in the garage today, hoping to make some sort of progress on the LS Swap Nissan 240SX. If you've been watching thus far, you will know that I have had a very interesting time swapping out the original KAE that came in this car and didn't run very well for an LM4 LSX, we'll call it here, out of a 2004 Chevy Trailblazer EXT. In our last episode, I got the starter working again and then kind of mocked up these coil pack holders that adjust the angle of the coil pack to see if it was something I was going to enjoy, if I was going to like it or not. After thinking about it for a couple of days, I've come to the conclusion that I can either take it or leave it. I like the idea of it more than I like the application of it. It doesn't really benefit me anything. I still have clearance issues with things, doesn't solve any problems, and I'd have to remake all of my existing spark plug wires. So I think in my application, it's not going to be right. I'm still going to hang on to it. I already know this is not going to be my last LS swap, and I might do one in a vehicle where they make sense. So I'll hang on to them. I'll put them in my LS swap box, tuck them away for a rainy day. But what that doesn't do is solve my clearance issues back here with this coil pack, mounted either on the rail or not, where the plug kind of mashes up against the fuel line and stuff back here. And this one, where the electrode is almost up against the brake booster. So I believe what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull that brake booster off. I had always pondered going with a boosterless setup. Many race cars are boosterless because it is more consistent. It does require swapping out the brake pads that I have, because when you go boosterless, your pads are very important. They have to be a certain kind of pad, and you have to make sure you have the right size booster. Most people either run a 7/8 booster or a 5/8 booster. The 7/8 is a little bit firmer pedal press, but doesn't require as much throw, and the 5/8 requires a longer throw, but is an easier pedal press. I think what I'll do is start with a 7/8, which tends to be the recommendation, and just see how it goes. The challenge with this is that I then have to remake all of my hard lines, which I've never done. But that's pretty much the name of the game when it comes to me and this car. I just kind of keep doing things I've never done, and it's a wonderful learning process. So I'm going to get started with pulling out that brake booster and moving or pulling out the hard lines that I can, and see what kind of progress I can make on that tonight. My goal over the next week will be to have that brake booster out, to fill up the transmission with transmission fluid, and then to install the fuel pump when it gets here. It was supposed to arrive today, and I was very excited to install it. However, I checked the tracking last night, and the last tracking update said that it was still in Kansas City. It went from Oklahoma to Kansas. The next stop should have been Minneapolis. I'm here in Minnesota, as I've mentioned a couple times. And it should have been there last night to get here this morning, and it was not. When I checked tracking this morning, it said that it was in California. So it went from Oklahoma to Kansas to California. And now it says it's supposed to get here on the 16th, which is President's Day. And I'm pretty sure that no delivery companies deliver on President's Day. So I'm not super excited about that. That said, I want to get everything done that I can in preparation for when that comes, because that should be the last step before starting the car. There are a couple other things that I want to look at. My drive shaft has never been able to fully slot in. I don't know why. It goes in about 2 inches and then meets some sort of resistance and gets stuck. So potentially the splines are twisted in the actual slip yoke, Or there's some twisting on the splines in the output shaft. I don't know, but I need to figure that out. Finally, in my last video, I asked you guys for suggestions on what I should do about my wiring. Now, my thoughts were either to go with a smaller custom build type power distribution block that's got a couple of relays and a couple of fuses, and you can kind of customize it how you want. Or the Rolls-Royce solution, and the one suggested by JP Carnut, which I certainly appreciate, would be a PDU or a PMU. Now what that does is it is a single device into which you can run all of your different electrical circuits, and it eliminates the need for fuses and relays. By handling all that electronically, you can program each circuit to do whatever you want. Now, those are super cool. And I think that's the route I intend to take. The challenge is that they are not terribly cheap. Across the board, they run $1,200 to $1,500. And there's many different manufacturers that make them. Holley makes one, which, you know, is who I went with for my ECU, but it's not like it integrates better or worse with the ECU than anything else. So I'm not bound to go with Holley. So I'll shop around a bit and see if I can find the best one to suit my needs. Due to the cost, that's probably not going to be a right now kind of thing. I will likely get the car running first, running and driving, and then maybe in the summer, after I've saved up a bit of cash, I'll go ahead and swap out for that and clean up all this wiring. So don't think I'm going to leave it ugly and crappy and messy. I will fix it. I will clean it up. I'm just not made of money. So that's the plan. Anyway, why don't I start trying to figure out how to pull off that brake booster? I'm going to have to remove that coil pack there at the very least, pull all the lines off, a little electrical brake dummy light there. And then there's 4 nuts on the inside. If there's fluid in here, which it looks like there is, which is kind of surprising because I've got, oh no, it's just gross. Okay, even better. So I can just go ahead and pull all this off, pull the brake booster out, and then we'll see how much room I have over there, which will be cool. Taking a look at the factory master cylinder, what we have here is one line that goes to the front passenger side, one line that goes to the back brakes, and one line that goes to the front driver's side. Most aftermarket brake masters will only have one output. So what I'm going to have to do is run a couple of splitters and a proportioning valve. So I'll need to run, if it goes out a single line, I need to run a splitter to go to the front and to go to the rear. I need to run a splitter that goes to both sides in the front. And there is already a splitter on the way back. In fact, it's right over there on that side. It goes down, goes to the back, and then splits off there. So I really just have to split the front and then one to the back that goes over there. So I'll have to plumb it in a little bit differently than it is now, which is fine. I've never made brake lines before. It seems super fun. So it's going to be great. You know, JP Carnut mentioned to me, he's like, you got a lot of tools. And I suppose I do for an amateur garage car dude. And the reason for that is that I'm lazy. If I have to struggle to do something, it's probably because I'm doing it wrong. And so when I come up against a struggle, something that's a pain to actually accomplish, I just assume I don't have the right tool for the job. And I'll do some research and figure out whatever the right tool is to make my life easier. Even if it costs a bit of money, or I've got to wait for it to get here. Because I don't like to struggle. That's not fun for me. All right, I'm gonna go in the car a second and detach the clevis pin from the brake pedal to allow the master to be removed. Let me show you this a second. So, we got our brake pedal right here in the middle, right? You can see, let me bend you around, up here, the 2 bolts there, and there's 2 bolts on the other side that are holding the brake pedal and the brake booster on. And then on this side over here, which is hard for me to see, there's a clevis pin that's holding the brake master to the pedal. So I need to get that clevis pin off first. And to do that, I'm probably going to have to get my steering column bolted back up here so it's not just dangling. I'll do that in a minute, and then I'll fire you back on. I struggled with this for a while, but the first step in removing your brake pedal and your brake master and your brake booster is to pull your steering wheel out. Your whole steering column, in fact. I struggled with it for a while. It's not worth struggling. You need to disconnect these little connectors here and this one that goes to your ignition. Pop this guy off the side of the steering column, set it aside. That makes it so much easier to get to everything down here. So step 1, pull your steering column off. You may, if you haven't been doing what I'm doing, still have it connected to your steering rack here. So make sure you undo this little U-joint first. So once you have access, you're gonna pull off this little spring clip and this guy that attaches the clevis pin to the brake pedal. And this guy's a little tricky because it has this little plastic cap on the top that has wings on either side that make it so it can't back out. It's a fantastic safety feature. I'm glad they did it, but it makes it a huge pain to pull out. And mine broke off because even though I squished the pins in so that I could, or little wings in so I could pull it out, it ended up getting caught on the inside of the clevis pin and broke. So it's a good safety feature, but super annoying when you're trying to pull it off the brake pedal. So down here, there are 4 nuts you have to take off that connect the brake pedal to the firewall. There's 1 bolt right up here to loosen it up. So now it's loosened up. The clevis pin is disconnected. We should be able to come into the engine bay. Okay, that is loose. I do need to remove this coil pack though, because it is blocking things. And there we go. Master cylinder and brake booster removed. And you can see how much more room we now have to work with here. I've got a plate on order that's going to go right here, to which I will mount my new master cylinder. And so that's just going to sit right here up against the firewall. It'll stick out to here, but I don't have the huge brake booster, and it's not going to be anywhere near my coil pack. It is Sunday, and Weston has been kind enough to come join me in the garage today. He has been scolding me, rightfully, because of how dirty the garage is. So we're gonna spend a bit of time and just clean up the mess everywhere and organize some things first. And then we'll probably get in and pull these little brackets off of the coils. I've decided that I think they're cool, but it doesn't help me any more than where they were before. So there's not a whole lot of point in keeping them on. After that, we might feel frisky and take a torch to the tie rods because they're, well, they're down there. They're more than kind of frozen on there. So I want to loosen those up so we can actually adjust them when the time comes. My fuel pump is still allegedly supposed to come tomorrow. However, I'm pretty sure that due to the holiday, it's President's Day here in America, we will not be getting any mail. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, cleaning fun. Here we go.
Now.
So Weston was here yesterday. He was kind enough to force me to clean. It doesn't look a whole lot cleaner, but what we did do that's going to be a big help going forward is we organized a lot of the bins and we labeled them so there's some semblance of organization of the contents of the bins, which I didn't have before. So that's good. I appreciate him coming and forcing me to tidy up. The garage definitely needed it. Today is Monday, but it's President's Day. And I did not expect to get any deliveries. However, the fuel pump came. So I am going to move the coil packs back to where they belong, where I would like them to be. Put the spark plugs in and plug in the spark plug wires. I will go underneath the car and fill the transmission with transmission fluid because I don't think there's any in there. I don't know. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that even if the car is in neutral, the transmission still spins. There's still some gears touching in there. There's probably some bearings or bushings moving. So I don't want it to spin without lubrication. And then I will get this fuel pump installed. And if we have fuel pressure, and it's not too late, I will try and start this thing, which is crazy. I am very excited. So, first things first, coil packs. So it's kind of funny. We cleaned, but now I don't know where my tools are because I had them sitting out in some sort of order. spark plugs torqued down to 15 foot-pounds, which from what I could find online, the range is 11 to 15. All of the spark plug wires are on. I had to kind of redo one of the boots because I didn't like how it was sitting, but I think they're all contacting well now. So I am going to get set up under the car. I will drain whatever fluid is currently in the transmission. I'm guessing it's probably empty, but I'm not sure. And then I will fill it up with the transmission fluid supplied with the FabBot conversion kit. For those that may be curious, the drain plug on this side and the fill plug on this side are both 24 millimeter. Here at the back of the car again, where I'm going to take off the feed and return lines and then pull the existing fuel pump out. I threw some tape down over the fuel assembly hole here just to keep it from fuming everywhere while we swap out the fuel pump. I'm going to leave this off for now, but I'm going to plug it in. I'll leave the covers off, but I'm going to plug it in. Now, let's go in and unplug that number 4 fuse, the one that goes to the accessory stuff in the car that I know is kind of bleeding power somewhere. Okay, good. Now I need to get power and ground to the ECU, which I haven't done since I moved inside. One important detail is I need these guys to be plugged in because that's how the ignition works. So I need to put the steering wheel at least back in position, kind of. I'll do that quick a second. So, fired up the new fuel pump. We definitely have fuel. You can see it was pushing, it was about 50 PSI. I've got to adjust that. But it peed fuel out of this fitting here and out of this fitting here. So, I'm gonna tighten those up first. This fitting here wasn't tight at all. Just dumb. This one I snugged up. This one I snugged up. Now you can see fuel pump's running. I got it set right at 43 PSI. I don't see any drips. I checked here. I checked back here. We're dry there. I checked down here at the fuel filter. Dry there. I think we're pretty good. Let's look at the fuel pressure on the display. Oh, which I don't have plugged in. Okay, let's fix that. The fuel pressure here is at 43. Fuel pressure here is 43, I guess. So now, do we try? Do we give it a little try? I'm gonna call my buddy Johnny and we'll see. Fuel pump looks good, fuel pressure looks good, ECU looks good. Coil packs are plugged in, spark plugs are torqued down, no leaks, battery is plugged in. The horrifying moment has arrived. I've got Johnny on the phone here. Let's see what happens. All right, I got that pointed at that. I don't have anything obstructing anything down there. Oh boy. Okay. All right.
This is what, 2 years in the making?
He says something. I mean, I guess technically like 7. I've had this car for a long time, but I've really been working on it in earnest the last few months. Okay, we have fuel pressure. Let's do a thing.
Here we go.
Oh, it's gonna go. Let me give it a walk around here a second. Okay. Nothing's on fire. Nothing's angry. It's gonna be loud as hell.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be so loud. It's gonna be so loud.
Oh my gosh. All right, got my...
It's gonna be so loud and then it's gonna chop like a mofo.
Yeah. Oh gosh, okay. 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 All right, let's see. Oh, it's right there. A little bit of smoke, but I think it's just exhaust. I wish I could crank it and give it gas at the same time.
Why can't you?
Well, because I haven't made a gas or a throttle bracket yet. So.
Okay.
Gosh, it wants to.
It just needs gas, I got a feeling.
So it's got the right amount at least. It is getting 43 PSI and 43 PSI, lower left there, so that's good. We have oil pressure, which is great.
This is the first time.
Oh gosh. Oh, it's so close. Come on, you know you want to run.
Oh, it won't. It won't.
Oh! Come on. Let's go! go! Let's go! Oh, it's purring! Let's frickin' go!
Yeah, it's gonna be a scary beast, my friend.
Oh my gosh. That's nutty. That is so freaking awesome. Ugh. This has been such a long time coming. And to see it start and idle decently, it's so freaking cool. I know I still have a lot left to do, but gosh, does it feel good when it gets to a point that it's actually doing something other than just sitting here. I've had this car in my possession for like 5 or 7 years. It's sat in my garage doing nothing. I've had the engine for a couple years. And it just started. It ran. Oh, that's too cool. Gosh. I'm gonna call some other folks, share this with them. But man, that is too exciting. I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for being with me for the first start of this thing. I can't even express my excitement. I would so greatly appreciate it if you'd subscribe down below to hang out with me for more awesome milestones. In addition, I would like to ask you to get out into your garage and put a couple hours into your project so you can feel this same excitement. It is euphoric. I can't even express it. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next one.